space, private space.
Okay.
Um, boy and girl, when it comes to certain age, you're supposed to separate. Dress sense, he can go ready to meet the girl. You have to keep yourself and all that, and then you feel like a boy can beat anybody because it's a boy. And that attitude of saying because it's the boy, even though he's the last born, he overrides everybody. How about that?
Okay, so that is why you cannot take out the family, because once the family, like I said, is one of the fundamental units of humanity and even the community. Once, and there's also this popular saying that charity begins at
At
home.
home, yes.
So and unfortunately, I think that we cannot say this without talking to the parents. The way you've
We're
been
still at the home front.
exactly the way you've been brought up is very different from the way your children will be. Yeah, there are some principles, there are some
Yes.
long-standing principles like the values that I talked about that can still work, but for this generation you have to tailor it down to the particular needs of the child. So you have a child who wants to express himself, you have a boy child who talks and all of that, and then you're like, talkative, don't talk, you're supposed to be calm, you're supposed
Girls
to
are the ones to talk.
yeah, exactly, girls are the one to talk, and sometimes it could even be reversed and all that. So it's very important that we let our children express themselves within the safe confines of the values we are teaching them.
What
So-
about aggressiveness? Some people attribute being aggressive as being, oh yes, you're a boy. Yeah, I'm sure you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do.
Is that part of the values to instill in them?
Okay, so you can, what I usually tell some of the children I take is that you can actually express your thoughts without making the other person feel bad, without making the other person feel less. So do you need to take deep breaths? Do you need to calm down? Do you need to outline your thoughts so that when you're saying, it's okay to read from the paper if you want to express your thoughts? So these are things, these are activities. This is where emotional intelligence comes into play. You can teach your children the simple rules of even engagement, dialogue, communication, and it starts with how we relate to the children, because our boys especially, in fact our children especially, they emulate us. It's okay to say, oh, do this, they want to see you do it. So if you're the kind of parent that shouts on your children or that shouts at your boys, trust me, your boys will pick it up.
Okay, this one is gift from Ikorodu. Iko FM, God bless you for this program. The matter is really important. Male children importance. Okay. All right. Another one says here, good afternoon, wonderful program. One of the moral. Okay, I think I have to help this person to rephrase it. One of the issue we're having is the way the boy child is being raised. Most cases, the values parents instill is different from what they ought to be. I see most parents raising their boy child to have their way whenever possible, just because you're a man, you feel you're all in all. They shouldn't raise them that way, and then they should raise the boy child also to have empathy. Oh, please help me out.
Okay, so I agree with what Gift is saying, because empathy is also another value. It's also another important value that we need to teach our children. And empathy is simply asking yourself, how would I feel if this is done to me?
Great question.
Yeah, and we need to start telling our children start training them from a very young
But
age.
I've seen boys, because I have some programs I go to train, and I've seen boys that will tell you, I'm a boy, you're a girl, so you should obey me. Now, I've heard that word, obey me, submit to me. And I asked them, well, where did you get that one from? I said, well, I was told at home I'm a boy. So how do we deal with that?
Parents need to,
Just because you're a boy doesn't mean you have to ride him.
exactly. We need to
human.
teach our boys to be better. We need to teach our boys that you are not the only one who makes up this ecosystem, and it starts from the home, basically, where the child, in fact, not just the home, like I said, the community, the school, every place where the child spends longer hours. We need to start teaching them that yes, you are important. We're not taking away that factor. You are important, but others are equally important as you are, and you cannot take it, you cannot take that away. Your own importance isn't more important than how important the other person is.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, let's look at the school. What values? I'm not talking about just academic. What values should be instilled in schools? I've I've seen schools where you have male and female. Yeah, some schools, and then their own rule is that a female cannot be the head. It has to be under. I don't buy that kind of value, basically. He must grow up to understand that in life there are competitions. If you don't win, it doesn't mean you're less of a person.
Yeah.
I've seen that in most schools. They will tell you that the head girl cannot be. And then I remember there was a time of this incident went viral of a child in one of the primary school somewhere in Lagos.
Okay.
Yeah, who wanted to, is it poison or injure the girl?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
because
remember.
he's a boy and he cannot stand the fact that a
That the
girl
girl is
cannot,
winning.
Yes. How do we deal with that? Those are instances we have at schools.
I usually tell parents too that whatever school you are taking your child, or whichever school it is you are taking your child, you have to have at conversations with whomsoever is in charge, and you have to talk about the values. Let them know that these are the things I am teaching my child. What are you what are you teaching my child? What are you going to offer my child? If the values do not align, your child has no business being in that school, because it takes a wholesome community to raise the child. So if you go to a school and they're telling you a girl cannot be the head girl, and it negates the value that you're teaching your girl, or it negates the value that you're teaching the boy, and they're saying, oh, the boy is the head of the home, whatever it is, of course it's the head of, nobody's arguing that fact. But because you are the head of the home, that means whatever it is you say is alpha and omega. It's not subject to change.
It's not the head of the home yet.
Exactly. but if, funny enough, you have school owners who have that mentality.
Yeah, that's why I just shared it.
So and when you would know their thoughts from conversation. So it's not enough to say, oh, what subject are you teaching my child? What values does your school stand on? What values are you pushing out? So if it doesn't align, my child has no business in that school. So it comes with awesome conversations.
This is a very serious matter. The values we take from the state, even now when you have married couples, you have couples who have issues with their wives earning more than them, who have issues with their wife who are well placed than them. It begins from the foundation.
Exactly.
We should start instilling in them. There's nothing wrong. You get to a place in your classroom, it just means you have to work harder.
Exactly.
The girl comes first if they still have positions and report sheets and all that, and you are second, then it means that next time you do better.
You do better, yeah.
It has got nothing to do with gender, being intelligent. And so they grow up with that way, they get married, and then the wife is earning better, and then you have issues that no.
Self-esteem issues begin to set in. So schools need to do better. And if we have any school owner, headmistress, administrator listening to this, our personal values or our personal belief systems tend to interfere with sometimes even the school. So the school owner or the visionary has very fantastic value, but you as a school administrator, because of the kind of background that you're coming from, it begins to interfere. So it comes down to you having that conversation with yourself that, what, this is no longer acceptable, and this is what is acceptable, and I have to do right by the boy child in my care.
All right, good afternoon, Talkline. Good program, good show. This is Maven. I don't know if I got your name, Jacob. I love this topic. Charity begins at home. In my family, both boys and girls are trained to do chores. I remember asking my male colleague to please help me get something outside. He said, Haba, don't you know I'm a boy?
Oh, wow.
You as a woman don't have the right to send me on errand. That sounds crazy.
Wow.
That's his word. Now, how would you react to that, Abigail?
Okay, so I'm going to have to ask the male colleague, what was your childhood like? I need to know, because it comes from childhood.
Now I'm the man.
It comes from childhood.
I'm the man.
It comes from childhood.
Like that being a man brings money. So how do we deal with this one now? He has grown up to think, no, a woman cannot send a man. So just help me. I'm sure apparently that person was going out to get something. So please help me get something.
And changing mindsets, especially an adult mindset, is one of the most difficult things to do. So if I was the lady, or if I were to be the lady, I'm giving pamphlets that reflect the true state of gender equality, educate him as much as I can without fighting and all that, because it could be.
Let's see if we can take. Hello. Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, because it could be a very touchy topic for the guy because this is what he has known all through his life. So that empathy thing, I'm going to bring it in. I mean, what would I do? How would I love to be corrected if I've done something wrong? So I'll start with that. Talk to him. This is not how it is, and
How
all.
do we tell the boy child? Well, this has got to do with the school. I know some schools might be trying, but if it is not in line, doesn't tally with what is being taught at home or what the boys see in the society, then we are very much long way from Uhuru. How do you tell the boy child that it's okay that you could be weak as well? A lot of boy child struggle with that part because the demand is that you're a man, you should be strong.
Exactly.
Physical fitness is different from financial and all that. How do we help the boy child think that if you are hot, you open up and say, I am hot. If I'm not feeling it, you say, I'm not feeling it. If I feel like crying, medically they will tell you it's even okay to cry.
Yeah, it is.
How do we disabuse their mind that crying is not a sign of weakness?
Okay, first of all, we need to take away the pressure that we've put on this
Yes.
gender. We need to just take away the pressure and acknowledge the child crying. Like, you know what, I see you and it's okay to cry. That if we put the pressure there ourselves, so we take it away ourselves. And another thing is societal expectations. Of course it goes hand in hand with the pressure. We need to start talking to our children, especially the boy child. We need to start letting them know they matter. It is not enough to take them out, buy stuff for them, and at the end of the day they come back home and they're still relegated to the background. We need to and it comes with words of affirmation, because sometimes all of these things that we did started with words telling them, you know what, keep quiet, shut up your mouth, don't cry. So we have to start rewarding it back. You know what, one, it's okay to cry. Two, you matter. And it's not just saying it, we have to show them that you matter, your thought matters, your emotions matter, to me and all that. So it starts from there.
All right, let's move to the community now. A lot of, like you said, pressure. A boy should be this, and then the boy too comes out in the society and feel, I'm around. This is I'm talking to, like that. Don't you know I'm a boy? Even if they don't tell you I'm a boy, like,
Yeah, the look.
I'm talking, you're talking.
Exactly, and the attitude.
And then they expect every girl child to bow to them, Lord
Yeah.
high and mighty. How do we do? Because that is what the society made them believe, that they are some kind of superhuman.
Yeah.
How do we help them?
So like I said, we put we put the pressure, we put the expectations, we'll be the one to remove it. So for instance, a child in your school or on the street, you see the child say stuff like that, you're supposed to say, hello, come here, and then you begin the re-education. Because if you leave that child to go and the child grows up, we'll have cases like the ones we've just read. So it's not enough to look away. This one is not, it's not my child. I mean, it's my neighbor's child. Like I said, those days we had low fences, but now we have high fences and all. So it's not enough to say, oh, it's not my child, I don't know the child. No, strangers, acquaintances, friends, as long as the child has expressed it this way, they don't even need to express it this way. You need to begin to teach them, and the community has a huge role to play. So I won't see a child say something like that and let the child go.
Finally, are we ready for this? Actually, are we ready on this? Because we live in the climate where a patriarchy thrives. And then
Sure.
the child, and our culture too. Are we ready to accept? Boy child being themselves. We have created this alter ego for them. Are we ready? Let me take this message. Good afternoon, Eco FM. When it comes to male child of a thing, it's really, really complicated. Because you know where I'm coming from. My home. We're all trained to do things together, both Charles and all that. But sometimes we are odd, but we have to play by the rules that male children don't cry. That's coming from a male. You know what I do when I'm odd? I go and hid and cry in my room. You see what I said? That are we ready for this? To make them be who they are. Are we ready?
So being ready begins from one, we've identified the problem. So actually we're ready. The second step now is to begin to raise awareness, and not just awareness, begin to see to mentoring these young boys, those men who have gone through this, and even women who have seen their siblings go through this. They know the effect, they know the impact it presently has on them,
Okay.
or on their mental health, and their well-being in total. So what they should begin to, or what we should as a collective should begin to look into, is not just talking about it, but seeing to mentoring these young boys and not looking away. Because when we look away, it's just like we're living, it's spoiling. And there's this Yoruba proverb, that says that the banana is spoiling, and we say it's ripening.
It's
So
ripening.
exactly.
We use it to fry tomatoes.
We use it to do this dodo.
Okay, so in your own family, you have boys?
Yes, I have siblings.
Okay, well,
All
boys.
boys. I'm the only girl.
Ah, and then you're protected now. That's another thing that once you are surrounded by boys,
I'm
you
the
can
only
do and
girl.
undo.
I did all of the stuff that boys do. We fought, we bickered, we played, we did everything
Okay.
together.
And do they agree with all this, your submission?
Of course they do. They really, really do. So and it goes down to the home. Our parents didn't teach us to, oh, this person is a girl, so she's weak. No,
yeah.
they are climbing trees, you climb trees with them. They are plucking mangoes, you pluck with them. They are doing
Did
anything.
you fall down?
No. I never fell on any orange tree.
Yeah,
I've
you
climbed.
couldn't have fun when you have 6 or 7 waiting down to catch you. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. Abigail
Thank
Aditola
you.
Adekunbo, the founder of KSNE Foundation, and we have been able to examine the International Boy Child Day, guiding the boy child positively impacting the world. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, the boy child is an important